whenever I'm talking to any founder, I try to understand where they are actually coming from, in terms of experience, what they are looking for. If it's just money, then I would rather tell them to start a POD store, get a supplier from China and start selling t-shirts, because that's a sure short thing. You put in money, you get a lot of designs, make a Facebook page and all of that, get banned a couple of times, but yeah, you will make money in that. That's a thing you can try. But if you are trying to build a brand, there are a lot many factors and amount of vision is required. So first of all, that vision needs to align.
Here we are with another episode with none other than Faisal, who's the co-founder of Brandslane, which is like a really kick-ass D2C and performance marketing agency in India. And I'm really, really excited to have a conversation with Faisal here. Welcome to the show, Faisal, and how are you doing?
Thank you for inviting me, Emil. I am doing very well. I hope you are good too.
That's great. I'm doing good as well. Amazing. So, Faisal, the first thing that I would like to ask is, I would like to know more about you. Like, how did you get into the field of marketing, and what was your? So there would be a backstory, right? Like there could have something. There could have something could have happened, and that's why you came into this particular field, right? So what was that exact backstory, and what happened actually?
Right. So though I started off in a very similar fashion to any guy in India, that is that I got into engineering, did not really like it. So I thought the best way to get out of engineering is through an MBA. And during MBA, I had a difficult question. Should it be like operations, which I'm more attuned towards being an engineer, or something else? Because finance was out of the question. So the girl that I liked took marketing. So there I was. I took marketing as well. So that's actually how I got into the field. But nevertheless, I was always interested in the art of advertising. When it came to marketing, I always was inclined toward advertising. How brands get more and more people into their funnel, which I didn't know existed back then. I used to see shows like Mad Men, which got me interested into the Madison Avenue Men, and how advertising started off. I started getting deeper and deeper into this topic, and to a point that I just stopped focusing on what was being taught in class, and I actually started learning what the art of advertising is. And after that, I got into a 9 to 5, but really it didn't kick in. What I thought was going to be the future in terms of what I'll be doing as an MBA in marketing, I was not. So I used to sell water purifiers back then. So in a fit of anger, one day I was kind of like not able to meet my monthly targets. I was studying a little bit on the side about Facebook ads. So what I did was I made a small video of mine, and I just ran an ad. I was in Lucknow. So I just
ran an ad. Hey, was it for that company?
Huh?
Was it for that company or? Oh, that's amazing.
I was not able to. I was working in Eureka Forbes, Aquaguard. So I just made a video of myself. Hey, I have these like 5 water purifiers. If anybody wants to buy from me, I just made a video. I put 150 rupees in that ad, and it just shot up. That is how I actually discovered Facebook ads that they work. And after that, like 7 months down my corporate journey, I just quit, came to Delhi, met my co-founder Nick on a Facebook group, started working with him together, started doing 1 brand, 2, 3, 4. It has been 60 plus brands that we have worked with now. And in that time period, we have helped our clients generate over 15 million. But the thing is that it started off literally from even worse than a garage store. I would say, like how most companies start, or it literally started from my bedroom. Right. So that's the journey. That's how it started.
What amazing. Like I was really shocked when you said that you ran an ad for a company that you're working with, for the Eureka Forbes.
Didn't even ran the ad for the company. I ran it for myself. I was not able to meet the monthly quota. So I was like, I just made my own Facebook page. I'll just run something. Let's see how it does. I put my own money in that.
Yeah, I mean that's something that I'm actually shocked. Like nobody does it, right? Like you did something really unique, and you found out your real passion towards marketing, right? Amazing. And I see, like, I think Brandslane is completely remote, right? You guys are completely working on remote, I guess, if I'm not wrong. So how do you think remote work is helping you shape up the work culture, and how are you able to deliver some kick-ass results for your clients? Like, is there any magic you guys are doing behind the agency, or how is it working for you?
It depends a lot on, the setting up the culture. That is obviously, since you guys are taking an offline approach to it, since I keep following what Haris&Co is doing, a similar approach. But in remote, it's more about giving them leeway and kind of like flexibility in terms of work hours, whatever they want to do, and still keeping them a part of the company. Like for example, we have a standard call time that every day the team members are to sit in a specific time together, all the media buyers together, every team member. Whoever is not able to join, that's fine. But and that is the only 1 hour in the entire day that we are to discuss any kind of accounts together, brainstorming together, right? After that, we are always communicating with our clients and together on Slack. So it's more about the kind of how you give out the responsibility as a leader, how you protect your team as a leader. So they should look at you as a not just a person who is giving orders, but also someone who stands with you when, if and at all, they screw up, right?
Absolutely.
So all those little things, from a leader's perspective, from an organizer's perspective, from a manager's perspective, you have to take care of. So yeah, it is challenging, and we have learned with our fair share of mistakes. But yeah, you have to keep the work exciting. You have to be very sure about the brands you are bringing into the fun, as for the team to work on. It can't be something that they're bored with. Whenever I get a client, I ask my team first, do you guys want to work on this or not?
Is your team motivated or not?
Yeah, if they are like that, I don't want to, then I don't even bother. I say that my team is not, interested in doing that. So I part with, because I think it's very important for the team, because they are going to be working on it. So if they are confident that, yeah, we can, even if I am not interested and the team is interested, I'm like, sure, give it your shot. Right. So
Awesome.
that is how you have to give them autonomy and all of those things. So it's a long process, but yeah, definitely the right key players, the right people, it just makes a lot of impact.
Great. I mean, I completely resonate with what you say, right? Like, because when you give freedom to your team members, instead of putting them into one single box, there's a lot of things that happens. Like when you give more freedom and the responsibility that they bring in and make sure that the work is done, and they should also be motivated every time, right? And also leadership plays a really, really important role in any organization. Without a proper clarity or a vision in how the company should move forward, if the clarity is not there, I think then the company doesn't grow, right? Awesome. Right. So Faisal, I just wanted to ask this very silly question, right? When the pandemic happened, everybody started moving online, right? And that's when people started to realize the actual power of being present online. And nowadays, when I open LinkedIn or any other, random website or something like that, I see a lot of D2C brands emerging at the moment. And this happened after, I would say, after the pandemic is, I would say, every day I see around 5 to 6 D2C brand new D2C brands coming up. So what do you think as this particular D2C segment is in emerging, or I would say a booming sector at the moment, right? So what do you think, or how do you think would the D2C industry be for the next maybe 3 to 4 years? Do you think it will grow, or do you think it's more like in any other sort of industry, it has a high boom and then suddenly it goes down? Do you think any changes could happen in the next upcoming years?
I think that every business in the history of business always, follow a similar pattern. If you even go back to the days of gold rush, this is, I think 2020 was kind of like the gold rush of DTC, right? When everyone thought that this is the profitable sector to be. And after that, you start seeing people are going to realize that this is not as simple and as easy as it looks. There are going to be people who are going to drop off because the competition as such is increasing day by day. Right, there are going to be acquisitions, but let's talk about when social media giants were coming up and apps and all of these things back in the early 2000s. There were not many social media apps apart from Facebook and Twitter and Google, right? But now they are mostly acquired. So that is the second step, right? Kind of like centralization or monopolization of the entire. If you look at what Glam Group is doing, they are kind of like taking away a lot of DTC brands or even traditional brands. They are just getting it into their belly. A lot of these things are going to centralize, because that is the third step, right? After it gets validated and competition starts increasing, big players who have been there in the first one, they start monopolizing the power and getting more and more acquisitions done and expanding their product lines. And also, be it offline business, online, this is the trend it's going to follow. right? As such, DTC is going to grow, and smaller players are definitely going to come up. But in the end, the way that whenever you and I try to buy a biscuit, we think of Parle G. In the DTC space, also for every sector, every specific product line, there is going to be one Parle G each. And that is what I think is going to be the case maybe in the next 10 years. But yeah, small businesses will always be there. So that's interesting to watch. But competition is tough. Definitely.
Definitely. I completely resonate to that. So, just to add like another question to this, right? Like we see, like we are also into the same D2C space, right? So there are a lot of customers, I mean, or clients, I would say, they come in and say that like we need to scale our brand to so and so numbers in the maybe in the next 1 month or 2 months or something like that. So, but at times when we see, right, the some brands do have that real potential to scale in the next 2 or 3 months, but there are some brands like doesn't have that potential. Maybe the product is they haven't maybe they still haven't find their product market fit, but they I mean, as they have like investors or something like that, the fund to back up their entire business, they kind of put in a lot of money. So what do you think, or how do you think you would handle customers like this? Let's say if there is a brand which doesn't have a proper product market fit, and there is a particular brand that has a really good product market fit, how would you manage these type of clients? Like, what would your advice to what would your advice be to those kind of clients?
I usually just, whenever I'm talking to any founder, I try to understand where they're actually coming from, in terms of experience, what they're looking for. If it's just money, then I would rather tell them to start a POD store, get a supplier from China and start selling t-shirts, because that's a sure short thing. You put in money, you get a lot of designs, you make a Facebook page and all of that. Get banned a couple of times, but yeah, you will make money in that. That's a thing you can try. But if you are trying to build a brand, there are a lot many factors, and amount of vision is required. So first of all, that vision needs to align. So once I understand what the founder is looking for, and if they are having a realistic time, and if they are having good enough money in the bank in terms of having a run rate kind of a money. It's not like they have money just for 1 month, and after 1 month they are going to be like, Faisal, we have spent all our ad spend and we have zero results, right? Because it happens. It happens. But if you try to, usually we never pick any kind of client which doesn't have a product market fit, or if it doesn't excite me personally. So there are segments which don't excite me personally. So I usually don't look into those things. But yeah, the product needs to be sellable. Sellable in the sense that it needs to be, when you look at a certain product, you understand the brand tone, be it the way they are putting out their Instagram, be it the way they are talking to their customers. You just get a kick that, yeah, this product, I can sell this shit, right? The amount of assets, the amount of the way they are presenting their product, right? So there are definitely there are influences from the West and better, bigger companies as well, that these companies at times get inspiration from. So you get an understanding when you look at their Instagram, on their social, or that you just talk to them what exactly they are doing. So that is the first thing that I usually look for whenever I'm talking to any client. If they have a potential of growth, right? If they understand DTC as a space, and what a realistic expectation needs to be.
Is there any situation, like I just want to ask this a very honest question? Is there any situation have you faced, like you felt that this particular product is sellable, okay, and then you tried marketing it, but there was one particular point of time the brand was, I mean, the product was not selling. So have you faced any? Because I see a lot of agencies just to onboard clients. I see a lot of agencies taking up clients, and at the end of, I mean, at some point of time, they're not able to generate sales. So have you ever faced any situations, or is there any situation?
Absolutely, that is a part and parcel of this game. So I usually look at any agency, me, or any other agency, as a bunch of doctors, right? Every patient that comes to us is not going to have a
correct,
right? They are going to invest. And it's not like that they are investing their money. We are also investing our time, our effort.
Yeah.
I could be working on some other account as well, but I'm working my ass off to make brand sell, and it's not selling. I'm very honest and transparent with the client in the first 2 months itself. If it's not selling, I'm transparent about it, that this is the situation. These are the learnings, and this is the kind of market that you are having. So maybe we can try out those things. But yeah, at the current rate, at the current thing, not something which can happen, or sales cannot happen. So it happens rarely. I'm not saying that this happens very frequently, but yeah, it has happened, and we have been very upfront and forthcoming about it, because that's the least that as an agency I can do, right? So yeah, more or less.
Awesome. So I think Brandslane is specifically. I mean, you guys are specialized in scaling, right? Brand scaling. Like the moment you get a brand, you always try to scale them to their fullest potential, right? So on a simple term, like how would you define scaling? Like in your language, like how would you define scaling? What is, I mean, and scaling is not like a very easy process, right? It's not that you put in more fund into the ad account, you get more sales. It's not that, right? There's a lot of process that goes in the back end, right? So how would you define that entire scaling? Like this is something I would like the upcoming D2C founders to get to know more about, like how scaling works, when you need to actually start scaling. So just can you just share some light on that?
Yeah. So my team is entirely based on people who are scalers, right? We focus. That's the focus that we have. So so when it comes to scaling, you have to find solidified assets, basically audiences which work, landing page which is like converting well, decent enough, right? And a good enough team at the client end, right? Their own supply chain. You have to assess that, are they ready for scaling? We have a client that we start scaling, and 3 days later they are like, pause it, pause the ad. So you have to make sure those things are there as well, right? And how I define scaling is that once your foundational aspects, which is your ad copy, your audiences, your metrics, basically, which is cost per add to cart, cost per click, all those metrics are solidified. You know that this is the range, permissible ranges I want my cost per acquisitions to be in. Once those numbers are solidified, that when you start actually building on those assets. So suppose one ad is, it's working well on a lower budget. Should I put more money into this? You start testing those hypotheses, right? You have to have these hypotheses as well, that if what happens if this asset works well on, let's say if I'm spending 500 on it, will it work as well if I'm spending 5,000 on it, right? Then you start seeing the actual impact of scaling, because things do not work that well when at times you start increasing these spends. So you have to take a very gradual but a very sensible approach, that you start slowly building and then keep on rebuilding the foundation while you are increasing the spend. It doesn't happen that today you are spending 20,000 a day and next day you are spending 1 lakh a day. It doesn't happen that quick. It doesn't happen that easy. And apart from that, you have to, while scaling, also take the multi-channel approach, especially in paid marketing. You can't just rely on one channel for getting all your sales, because after a while it's actually impossible to reduce the CAC, right? You will get traffic. Definitely you can increase traffic, but controlling the cost per acquisition is something. Because in a specific day, there are only a n number of customers that you have looking for your brand. But yeah, bringing Google into the mix, bring Snapchat, bring TikTok, bring any other platform into the mix, it can really work out, right? Those things become very important when you are actually scaling up.
Understood. So now that you mentioned about omni-channel, right? Like my next question was about how do you define, like, is there a specific time, or do you go full hand being omnipresent when you start taking a brand, or is it like you first invest in Facebook and then Google? And I also have actually a follow-up question on that, but I just want to know more about, like, what do you actually recommend a customer? So because there are certain products that can be sold only on Facebook, but there are certain products that goes really well on Google, right? So how do you suggest the clients, and how do you take that forward?
Right. So based on, first of all, it takes a lot of experience as well to understand which platform to go with first. So let's say it is a high consideration product. Let's say it's a product in the baby category, right? Stuff for kids. Now, baby category, in my experience, has worked well on Facebook as well as Google. Google actually works better. Why? Because parents look everywhere to get the best things for their kids, right? Now, let's talk about the fashion niche. Fashion is something which is very visual in nature. A person is going to get impacted by the lifestyle angle of things, which is not that obvious on Google Ads, which is going to be a good retargeting tool for specific for fashion brands. But yeah, Facebook is going to take a very good budgeting in a fashion brand. Right now, let's say jewelry. Jewelry again is going to be Facebook driven, but since jewelries are expensive, they are going to definitely add, Google as an important channel, because a person an expensive jewelry, they won't just buy by looking at an ad if it's like 20,000, 30,000, right? So those things definitely you will have to test. So in the first month, I always suggest anybody to test just Facebook and Google, focus there. Test out everything under the sun that you can, and in the second month, start cutting off the things which you know doesn't work. Let's say discovery ads on Google is not working for my clients. Let's not spend anything on that. Like improve the shopping feed and let's retry the shopping ads if something went wrong. So you have to understand, what the funnel is and what the customer is actually looking for, how they're looking for, and what is going to be the ideal funnel. Right. So in the first month, first 45 days, that is very easy to assess. And do all the tests and everything.
Got it. So my follow-up question, right? So there is kind of a rumor. I'm not sure if it is true. I'm hearing that TikTok is soon gonna be back to India, but I see. I think you guys are also running TikTok ads, I guess, right? I think you're for your abroad clients. You're also handling abroad clients, I guess. So what do you think will happen if TikTok is back to India, and how do you think it will? Do you think whether it will support the D2C brands, or do you think whether it will have a really bad impact on the e-commerce brands? What's your take on that?
I think a lot of my friends also don't agree with me, but I am actually a big supporter of TikTok from the advertising point of view, because it is the only mainstream platform which has a tier 2 and tier 3 penetration, which any other platform, let's say Instagram, does not have. Right. So it is, and in the end of the day, a good proportion of your market actually lives in tier 2 and tier 3. And if you look at any brand that actually scales, if you think about the scale word, it's not like just doing like 30 lakhs or 1 crore a month, actually scales doing 1 crore a day. They have to compete in these towns as well, because like from marketers' perspective, we are targeting just 10% of India. Correct. Facebook ads is not that prevalent in different segments of the society. Now, TikTok ads definitely provides a lower CPM, huge penetration, and also very good targeting. Like I don't know if you know, on the TikTok you can target hashtags, you can target specific video creators, right? So like. If you know that a specific hashtag is working, let's say I actually work in the crypto space on TikTok ads. So I actually targeted hashtag WAGMI, hashtag Bitcoin, hashtags, all the things. So it's an enriching experience. So because that is how people are communicating in those channels. So and the volume there were much higher than Facebook and Instagram, right? So definitely a good platform, and I would love if it's getting back to India. So that's one platform.
Yeah, because like today is when I heard that rumor, I thought I wanted to badly ask you this question as you were already into the TikTok space. But I think, I completely agree with you that TikTok has more amount of audience in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which Facebook or Instagram is not providing at the moment, I would say. Awesome. So one more thing that I wanted to ask is like, what's your take on conversational marketing? I see a lot of, there are a lot of people who are actually coming into that conversational marketing space. Like on LinkedIn, I see Anthony Chaco, he's really one of the good conversational marketer I know as of now. But what's your take on that? Do you think WhatsApp is going to be the next Instagram or Facebook for D2C marketing, or what's your thought on that?
Right. So about social media, people and founders need to understand, the role of these channels is actually changing. So let's say about conversation marketing, which I basically call retention marketing. Right. These things work on lists. Right. List basically, I need to have a list or number of people coming in for me to have those conversations on. Right. Conversational marketing cannot survive on its lonesome. So for any brand, if you can even break even on your costs, or at not a substantial, but a small amount of loss, even if it's happening on the Facebook and on your advertising and on Facebook and Instagram and Google. But if you're able to bring that number back with these supporting arms, which is email, other retention channels, WhatsApp, all of this, right? They all work together. But the list building and the customer base, which, majority traffic drivers are going to always be Facebook ads, Google ads, and Instagram ads, all of those things. So founders need to understand that you will have to, to make sure that more and more people are coming in who might need to take a different approach to advertising, like focusing more on the lists that you are building, and just make sure that these channels, the top of the funnel, basically what we call top of the funnel channels, they just focus on building lists, and the rest is getting done by retention marketing. Right. So that is one.
I feel it's very really really important, like to build your own customer data. I think you would also agree with me, right?
Absolutely.
Because you might not know when another channel is going to be taken off from India, like how it happened on TikTok, right? So I think it's really important to build your own customer data, and so even if something massive happens, you have something on your own, right? So I think you would also agree with that point.
Absolutely. That even though the chances of a Facebook going off is very less because of international reasons and a lot of things, it will be very, very, very bad for our international image, as well as if Facebook and Instagram go away. Apart from that, a lot of loss in the overall, GDP as well, because this comprises a huge proportion of that. I don't think it is going to go away, but yeah, in the end of the day, your list has to be yours.
Yes, correct. Awesome. I think you have definitely shared a lot of really, really good insights for our audience. So the final question that I would like to ask is like, what is, as you have handled like too many brands, what is your piece of advice that you would give for an upcoming D2C brand? What are the things that they need to focus when it comes to launching a new brand? Or let's say, even if there is a particular brand who's in the midway, like they've started generating some amount of revenue. So where do you think those kind of brands should start focusing, and what would be your advice to those D2C founders?
My advice would be to take a very direct response marketing approach for your advertising, and take a very conversational approach for your social media. Right. Hire a brand manager, because every brand that is doing something good, and I work with a lot of brands, so every good brand has a brand manager that is looking at the whole picture of what the language is going on the social media, what kind of language is going on the ads. But when we talk about advertising, you need to focus on your offer, because that is what is going to go first. So focus entirely on the offer. Make it lucrative. Make it something which no one else is going to put out in the market.
Definitely.
Right. After that, the landing page. Every element of your landing page needs to be optimized for the person to just want to go back, to go forward. Right. So dissect your entire customer journey into multiple points and try to optimize each and every one. It seems like a very general advice, but actually it's a very important advice, because people don't really dissect every part of the customer journey. Like from the top of the funnel to the purchase, there are a lot of holes. Right. Try to fill them as much as possible and try to innovate. Look at your competitors, what they are doing, and how you can one up them in your financial capacity. There's a brand I was looking at yesterday. As soon as I got on that, on their landing page, the thing that they said was that get a free, it's a necklace. So get a free necklace.
Okay.
Get the email, and after it was written in the fine print, your next purchase is going to be free. Your second order is going to be having this much X discount or something. Right. Now, what a unique way of putting just that. Right. So optimize your pop-up messages, optimize your ad messages. Have an offer-centric approach on ads, because in the end of the day, everyone is doing offers, so you have to take that. So there are a lot many advices, but yeah, this is going to be the more. Try to optimize every single piece of the customer journey, every single piece, from the social media front to the thank you, and after that also the post-purchase sequence, if you have any, optimize that as well. And that is all, and be very data heavy. So focus on data.
Got it. That's the really, really important point that you mentioned at the last. Like, data is crucial, right? Like, without even knowing what exactly is happening in your brand, and not if you're not checking out your data on a regular basis, I think none of the brands will be able to grow, right? Data is really, really, really crucial for any kind of brand. And awesome. I think that was really interesting insights that you had shared for the audience. And I think the audience would have also loved whatever insights that you have shared. And I think we have come to the end of the show. And thank you so much, Faisal, for sharing your time and coming onto the show and sharing some really, really insightful talks. And I hope to do some more episodes with you on really good, better, even more better trending topics, I would say.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Faisal. And thank you guys for listening to this episode. We'll be back with another interesting episode. Like I think we'll try to bring more people like Faisal onto our show, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you so much.